If you're watching this video, you or someone you care for is preparing for total knee replacement surgery. One of the most common concerns patients have is coping with the pain after surgery, which is completely understandable. The good news is that your anesthesia care team has a plan to help manage your pain so that you can start your recovery comfortably. In this video, we'll introduce the Adductor Canal block catheter, a device that will be part of your pain management plan. We'll cover what it is, how it works, what to expect, how to look after it at home, and how it supports your recovery. We'll also cover safety precautions and what to do if something doesn't seem right. By the end, you'll feel confident and well prepared. During and after knee replacement surgery, the nerves around your knee send pain signals up to your brain. A nerve block is a way of temporarily freezing those specific nerves with a local anesthetic medication, so the pain signals are greatly reduced or blocked entirely. Many people will have experienced this at the dentist with the freezing injection that numbs part of your mouth. A nerve block works on exactly the same principle, just in a different part of the body. There are two ways to perform a nerve block. The first, and most common, is a single injection of local anesthetic around the nerve. This typically provides numbness and pain relief lasting somewhere between 12 and 24 hours, depending on the medication, before it wears off and the pain returns. The second way, and the focus of this video, is to place a nerve block catheter. This is a small, thin, flexible plastic tube that's positioned just next to the nerve, and it stays in place for a longer time. It's a similar concept to an IV drip in hospital, which is a small plastic tube placed into a vein for fluids and medications. Instead of going into a vein, this catheter sits next to a nerve and continuously delivers local anesthetic around it. The big advantage of the catheter is that the pain relief can be maintained for a much longer time, approximately 60 to 75 hours, or about 3 days. This covers the critical first few days after surgery, when the pain tends to be at its worst. So, how does it work, and where exactly does this catheter go? The adductor canal is a natural passageway in the inner part of your thigh, roughly at mid-thigh level. It's called a canal because it's a space between your muscles where the nerves and blood vessels travel through. The catheter is inserted at the time of your anesthetic and surgery, so you won't need a separate procedure later. Your anesthesiologist uses an ultrasound machine, the same kind of technology used to look at babies during pregnancy, to see the canal and the nerve in real time. This allows them to guide a thin needle to exactly the right spot. The area is numbed first, so the procedure itself is not painful. Once the needle is in position, the soft, flexible catheter is threaded through it and placed right next to the nerve. The needle is then removed, leaving only the thin plastic tube in place. The catheter is then secured to your skin with a clear adhesive dressing. You'll be able to see the catheter site through this dressing, and that's perfectly normal. A short length of tubing will be visible outside the dressing, connecting to the pump that delivers the medication. Now let's talk about the device that delivers the local anesthetic through your catheter. For patients going home, the catheter is attached to a disposable pump called an elastomeric infusion pump. There are different types of disposable elastomeric pumps on the market. All of them work on similar principles. This one shown here in this video is the Baxter elastomeric infuser. Think of it as a rubber balloon inside a hard plastic casing. The balloon is filled with local anesthetic medication. As the balloon slowly and steadily deflates, it gently pushes the medication through the tubing and into your catheter at a fixed, controlled rate. It requires no adjustment by you at all. Different pump models have different volume sizes, and they deliver the medication at different rates. While you don't need to know the specific details, this will determine how long the pump will last. Most will last approximately 60 to 75 hours, or roughly 3 days. Your team will explain how long you can expect from the pump that you have. This pump has no batteries, no buttons, and no electronics. It runs entirely on the gentle pressure of the elastic balloon. It works completely on its own, and you don't need to adjust anything. You'll see the balloon getting gradually smaller over the next few days. That's a good sign. It means the medication is being delivered as planned. When the balloon looks completely flat and the casing feels empty, the medication is finished. Once the catheter is working, here's what you can expect. The adductor canal block provides pain relief and numbness specifically over the inner side of your knee. The numbness will also typically extend down the inner part of your calf and shin all the way to your inner ankle. This is completely normal and expected. However, the block does not numb every part of your leg. You may still experience some pain from 3 areas: your thigh muscle above the knee, the back of the knee, and the outer side of the knee. This does not mean the block isn't working. It means it is doing exactly what it's designed to do, targeting the main pain nerves on the inner side of the knee. It's also important to know that a significant part of the pain after knee replacement in those first few days comes from inflammation and swelling in the joint itself. The catheter reduces the nerve-related pain, but you will also need pain medication tablets to manage the inflammation-related discomfort. The nerve block catheter will not relieve all the pain from your surgery, but it will make a very meaningful difference. Your team will prescribe these additional medications as part of your overall pain management plan, and we'll cover those in a moment. There is one important advantage of this particular block. It does not cause any major weakness in your thigh or quadriceps muscle. You still have good control over your leg, which will allow you to walk and do your physiotherapy exercises. Your surgeon will prescribe several pain medications to work alongside the nerve block catheter. Let's quickly walk through the plan so you know what to take and when. First, acetaminophen. You may know it as Tylenol. You'll take 2 extra strength Tylenol, or 1 gram, 4 times a day. Take this regularly as scheduled, even if your pain feels well controlled. It works best when taken consistently. Second, an anti-inflammatory medication, unless you have an allergy. Common ones include celecoxib, ibuprofen, or meloxicam. Your surgeon will have chosen and prescribed the one that is appropriate for you. Like acetaminophen, take this regularly as prescribed. Third, an opioid medication, such as hydromorphone, oxycodone, morphine, or tramadol. Unlike the first 2, you use this only as needed to control pain, up to every 3 to 4 hours as directed on the medication bottle. In addition to medications, complementary treatments can help. Elevate your surgical leg to reduce swelling. Apply ice packs or a cooling compression device around the surgical area on top of the bandages, but keep the dressings and bandages dry. One important caution: do not apply excessive heat or cold directly to the area where you have numbness from the nerve block. Because the local anesthetic reduces your ability to feel temperature, you may not detect if something is too hot or too cold, which could injure your skin. Once you're home, looking after your catheter and pump is straightforward. Let's go through the key things to remember. First, keep the dressing, bandages, catheter, and pump clean and dry. Do not get them wet. Sponge baths are the best option to make sure everything stays dry. Do not submerge yourself or the catheter in water, and avoid exposing it to a direct stream of water from a shower. Second, keep the pump supported. Your team will provide a sling pouch to carry the pump. Keep the pump at or above the level of the catheter site, for example, at waist height or in the sling pouch. This is important because if the pump hangs below the catheter, gravity can reduce the flow of medication. Don't let the pump drag on the catheter tubing, as this may pull the catheter out. Third, make sure the tubing connecting the pump to the catheter is not kinked, twisted, or clamped off at any point. A kink can slow or stop the medication flow. Fourth, be careful with clothing. You can wear clothes over the catheter and pump. Just take care when putting on and removing clothing so you don't accidentally tug on the catheter or tubing. Fifth, while sleeping, keep the pump next to you in bed or in the sling pouch to prevent it from falling to the ground and pulling on the catheter. You can place it at roughly the same level as the catheter, under your pillow or slung around your body. 6. Keep the pump out of direct sunlight and don't expose it to extreme heat or cold. Heat can affect the infusion rate. 7. Look at the catheter site daily through the dressing without removing the dressing. A small amount of lightly blood-stained or clear fluid underneath the dressing can occur and is normal. If the leakage is significant, you can wrap an elastic tensor bandage around your thigh. You can use the same elastic bandage that was used to wrap your knee joint after surgery. This bandage provides some light pressure on the catheter entry site, which can reduce some of the leakage. Warning signs to look for are redness, painful swelling, or any yellowish or pus-like drainage at the skin site. If you see any of these, let the acute pain service team know. The acute pain service team will call you by telephone every day while your catheter is in place. They'll check that everything is going smoothly and answer any questions, so not to worry, you are not on your own in this. Next, let's talk about why this catheter and pump system is so valuable. The nerve block catheter provides longer-lasting pain relief with less pain overall after surgery. Because your pain is better controlled, you'll need less strong pain medication like opioids. That means fewer opioid side effects, things like nausea, vomiting, constipation, and drowsiness. It also means you can participate earlier and more effectively in your physical therapy exercises, which is one of the most important things for a successful recovery. Patients with nerve block catheters often have shorter hospital stays and a better overall experience. Let's cover some important safety precautions while the catheter is in place. Please arrange for someone to stay with you while you recover. Get assistance with moving around and daily activities, especially in the first couple of days. Because the nerve block can cause some numbness and heaviness in your leg, be careful when walking. Your leg may sometimes feel weaker after surgery than usual, which can increase the risk of your leg giving way or a fall. Use a walker or crutches as directed by your surgical team. Do not drive or operate heavy machinery while the nerve block catheter is in place. Your leg may be numb and difficult to control safely. If you've been prescribed a brace or support for your knee, keep it on while the catheter is in. Your surgeon will instruct you on when it is safe to remove it. While serious complications are uncommon, there are some important warning signs that need medical attention. Call your surgical or anesthesia care team if you notice any of the following: pain or redness at the site where the catheter enters your skin that is getting worse, persistent ringing in your ears, metallic taste in your mouth, numbness around your lips or mouth. These last three symptoms can be signs of a reaction to the local anesthetic medication and should be reported immediately. Also seek medical advice if you have severe pain that is not resolving with your regular pain medications, or if you experience a seizure. For urgent questions related to the nerve block catheter, contact the hospital or your surgical and anesthesia care team using the instructions in your patient information leaflet. If your symptoms are severe or you are unable to reach a healthcare provider, call 911 or go to the nearest emergency department. If you go to the emergency department, bring your patient information sheet with you so that you can tell them you have a peripheral nerve block catheter and ask them to contact the on-call anesthesiologist. Remember, your anesthesia and pain service team will call to check on you every day while you have the catheter in place. You are not alone in this process. Most patients have no problems at all with their catheter, but let's cover the most common issues so you know exactly what to do. The most common issue is leakage of local anesthetic fluid around the catheter site. This fluid may be slightly blood-stained and it can collect under the dressing or even seep out from the edges. This is not dangerous. It's a known and common occurrence. If this happens, use a firm bandage, such as the elastic tensor bandage that was used to wrap your knee after surgery, and wrap it with firm but not excessively tight pressure around your thigh at the catheter insertion site. This pressure will often stop the leakage. If the leakage is significant, the nerve block effect may start to wear off sooner, so take additional pain medication as needed if your pain starts to increase. If the leakage is heavy enough that the dressing becomes dislodged and the catheter becomes exposed, the catheter will need to be removed. Contact the acute pain service team and they'll guide you through safe removal. We also have a separate tutorial video for the removal process, which we've linked in the description box of this video. If any part of the catheter tubing or connection to the pump becomes disconnected, do not try to reattach it. It may have become contaminated. The catheter will need to be removed. Contact the acute pain service team for help and refer to the video on catheter removal. If the pump balloon doesn't seem to be emptying, check two things. First, make sure the tubing is not clamped or kinked anywhere along its length. Second, make sure the pump is at or above the level of the catheter site, so gravity isn't working against it. If the catheter comes out on its own, press on the insertion site with a clean paper towel or cloth for 5 to 10 minutes until the leakage stops. Cover it with a Band-Aid. Then check the catheter tip. Make sure it looks intact and not broken off. Put the catheter, tubing, and pump aside and keep them until the next phone call from the acute pain service. They may ask to inspect them. If any of these occur, or if you have any concerns at all, contact the acute pain service team using the number on your patient information leaflet. They would always rather hear from you than have you worry at home. Let's recap. Your adductor canal block catheter delivers continuous pain relief for about 3 days. It's connected to a simple automatic pump that works on its own. At home, use sponge baths only. Keep everything clean and dry. Keep the pump in the sling pouch at or above catheter level. Check the site daily. Take your acetaminophen and anti-inflammatory regularly, with opioid medication as needed. Your anesthesia and pain service team should call you every day. If you have any concerns, you can contact them using the instructions in your patient information leaflet. When the pump is empty, they'll guide you through the simple, painless catheter removal over the phone. We also have a separate tutorial video for the removal process, which we've linked in the description box of this video.